Let's go. We're here. Plugging myself. First episode of the season here. All right, we're going to go ahead and leave that in the background. We've got some coffee today, guys. Hold up. Let me turn the audio down a little bit. What is up, guys? It's the More Than Coffee podcast. My name's Dylan, and co-host is going to be Zac Stewart.
What's up?
First time on a podcast?
It is my first. Actually, it's my second time on a podcast.
Hey, there you go. So basically, we're going to go ahead and start this off with a little bit of coffee. Hope you got your coffee in your hands, or if you're driving, be safe. But here we go. We're going to... It's pretty hot. All right, let me get Zac some coffee here.
Let me get a cup.
You know, there's something about black coffee. You know, what are your thoughts on it? You like it?
I think black coffee is one of the most interesting things about coffee. You can get it in specialty drinks, but...
Now, do you think that some guys just try to drink it black to act like they're strong, or what?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But they're usually drinking Folgers. They don't understand that coffee can be so unique.
All right, I'm going to take a sip of this black coffee real fast. I don't really drink black coffee often, but it's strong. It's very strong.
It's not that strong.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. This is the Nojo strong. But anyways, we're here, and people have probably seen us on social media. Maybe we're trying to get a lot of people to check out this page because we got a good idea of what we want to do with this, but we're still learning. So the More Than Coffee podcast, we're going to have a sign eventually, so ignore this one. It's working for now.
Coming soon.
Yeah, and it's also like really hot in here, so if we start sweating, don't think we're passing out. It's just a little bit hot. But I'm excited to get going here. So basically, we're going to be talking about like a lot of different things, business-wise, entrepreneurship-wise, but it's not going to be your boring stuff because, I mean, I'm only 22, and
I just turned 26.
Like, we're young. Like, people, not too many people are just going after these things these days, and we gotta highlight these people. There's a lot of people we're going to get on the show. Today is just kind of like an intro, get you to know me and Zac a little bit better, but this is going to be a fun podcast. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, there's so many young people that you would never even know what they're doing or like anything, but they're out here hitting the grind every single day, and it's super, super impressive.
Every day.
Like, it blows my mind how many young people are trying to take advantage of the opportunities that they have right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I kind of want to just go real fast into it. So where did the More Than Coffee? I know when we named it More Than Coffee, it was because we kind of stemmed back to Zac's original business model and his original slogan with his old with the first business he opened. And then now what it's expanded into. Kind of tell about that real fast, just so they know what More Than Coffee actually stems from.
Yeah, so we, before the rebrand, that was our slogan was More Than Coffee, and the idea behind that was like, we can serve coffee, we can serve chicken, we can serve ice cream, we can serve whatever. It doesn't really matter. My goal in business and in life is to impact people. Like, it's just so much more than the coffee that we're handing through the window. It's the experience and the connectivity that we're able to have with people. Yeah,
for sure. It's crazy to see like how the coffee industry has like changed over the years. I didn't even get into coffee until like a year and a half ago, and then I was like kind of obsessed with it because I started working at Starbucks. Boo, Starbucks. I don't like it. Whatever. Honestly, dude, I worked at Starbucks at a school campus that I was at Harding University, and I can't tell you how many free drinks I handed out. I don't know how I never got fired for that. But Starbucks model is just so different, and their brand awareness is crazy. Like, everybody knows Starbucks. Yeah. But what you're trying to do is definitely more of the new trend and what's going on these days.
On the Starbucks note, like, with the coffee trends and stuff like that, were they like updating you guys with different stuff going on in coffee, or just stuff that related to their brand?
Man, dude, that Starbucks it was like a franchisee type thing. It wasn't really like a legit Starbucks. It was one of those ones that I think somebody bought. I don't know, what do they call those?
The licensing
thing. So it was one of those Starbucks. So we got updated on most of the Starbucks events. They have a Starbucks calendar, trying to keep up with the holidays, the new holidays that come out, because nowadays we have a ton of new holidays we have to acknowledge. So
10 every month.
Yeah, 10 every month. I mean, we're in the midst of June, but I mean, I'm not going to get into that. But there's a lot of different things that we deal with, and so we got to kind of adjust on and your business has to adjust to them, because I mean, you're serving everybody. All types of people, and some people like will get so close knit into like, I'm only serving these people, but like, well, then you're missing out on an audience.
I think that goes into your objective for your business too, though.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy, but so funny thing about this podcast is we're trying to make this as cool and like sound good. Like, we want it to sound like professional. Yeah. I had kind of done a podcast like a year ago. Kind of ran it and did it, here and there, but it was very like just sporadic, and we'd set up anywhere. This is actually the coolest setup we've had up in this area.
I think it looks good.
I mean, shoot, we got this table from dirt cheap. I mean, we really finesse the system here. Except this audio is pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
We drilled these. I got these holes drilled in here. We got the setup going.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Yeah, wow.
Find these videos on YouTube. Do it. We got the setup up here, and it looks great. And so I'm excited to see like we get other guests in here. It's gonna be really good. But let's go ahead. Just talk more about like where you started to kind of feel that entrepreneur spirit in your life. Like where did that come from? Like where did that begin as you were going to school, and then kind of tell your journey a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll go all the way back to high school, I guess. Yeah. So I was in high school, not a very good student. I was going to go to the Navy. Coast Guard and then Navy, but I decided on Navy. Whew. I was going to do rescue swimming. Yeah, I wanted
swimming.
I wanted to jump out of helicopters and
it could not be me.
Do the whole what's that? There's a movie about it with Ashton Kutcher, The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Yeah. I wanted to do the whole thing, and actually 2 weeks before I was supposed to sign my like actual military contract, there was a recruiter from A-State that came and pretty much was like, "Hey, you can go to college. Your parents don't make a lot of money, and you won't have to owe a lot of money." Because that was my main thing. I was always trying to be. We didn't have a lot of money, and I didn't want anybody to have to pay any debt, and I didn't want to go into debt. So going to the military made the most sense to me because my grades weren't good. Mm-hmm. So,
or you weren't scared?
No,
really?
No. It ultimately came down to, am I going to have a lot of debt? The answer was no, and then. I wanted to be closer to my family. Like that was the biggest struggle with the military thing, was I was going to be away from family a lot. So decided not to do that and decided to go to Arkansas State. Once I graduated, went in the nursing program.
Nursing?
Yep. I thought that was going to be an easy way to make a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, a lot nurses make good money, but I've seen the people studying. That's when I just graduated, but when I was in school, I see people in nursing who don't do anything. Or if they do, it's like one time a month because they're stuck with the books.
It's crazy.
And then you got to take what's that exam at the end? NCLEX or whatever.
There's an NCLEX, and then there's to do what I wanted to do. You had to take like 3 different exams, like a HESI exam, NCLEX, and all that kind of stuff.
I just don't understand it. I mean, I guess you want your nurses to be good.
Well, it's rigorous. Like the medical field is changing so much, and you have to know how to jump through all these hoops with the insurances and all that kind of stuff. And it example like COVID, like there's always new departments being developed. Like with COVID, they have this new lung thing that they can keep you alive without your heart beating just from like the blood from your lungs. Yeah,
and that's insane. And also, like nurses are needed everywhere right now. I mean, you will get a job as a nurse no matter where you go. I mean, there's a shortage like everywhere.
Yeah.
How is there a shortage? I don't understand.
Well, I think everyone's trying to go to like these. It's a lot of going on in a lot of occupations, but like everyone wants to do these like nurse practitioners and like these higher paid nurses, and then there's a shortage of like.
Yeah, I don't understand that. So nurses, you have your nurses, and then you have your nurse practitioners. Is that just a fancier nurse?
So a nurse practitioner basically can do everything right under a doctor. Okay. They just don't have the title of a doctor. They have to have a sign off of a doctor.
Dude, I could not.
Arkansas just passed a law not too long ago that as long as you had a doctor, and like they don't have to be on the campus.
Yeah.
They just have to sign off on your stuff, and if anything happens, they're liable for it.
That's what those urgent cares always have nurse practitioners.
Yeah, so they don't actually have to have a doctor. That's why Arkansas had to pass a law. They got into a really tricky situation because these doctors were licensed at like 8 different clinics, and they were supposed to be on the campus.
That's insane.
And they were like, there was a lot of deaths or like some weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
And they were like, there's no way that you're at all of 8 of these campuses in a day.
What? That's crazy. So could a doctor just open up a clinic and then run his clinic?
Pretty much now you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was almost a really big thing. Sure. Other states, I think Mississippi, you can't do that.
Well, Mississippi, that place is garbage. Don't get me started on Mississippi.
That's why you can't do it there.
I mean, my buddy Jaden, shout out to him. He lives in Mississippi, and he's been there for a while. I've visited Mississippi State about 3 or 4 times. How did Dak Prescott go to Mississippi State? There's no way he partied or did anything there. That place sucks. Like, I don't know. Maybe he was, but The last time I went to Mississippi State, I can go on a tangent about that. I just was like, they don't put no money into their
I could go on a tangent
plays.
about Dak Prescott.
Oh, well.
He's overrated.
Come on.
He's
Overrated. Let's really, we could talk an hour about that.
Yeah,
Go Cowboys. We'll get into that sometime, though. Dak, man. That's crazy. Just to think he went to Mississippi State. It's weird.
I think he's still in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still in the NFL. Yeah. He did go to Mississippi State, though. That's crazy. But back to the nurses thing. What I was saying is, what's the difference in time? Do you know? Like, if you want to be a nurse practitioner, is that extra schooling, I guess?
Yeah, so I actually want to do nurse anesthetist, which is an anesthesia nurse.
Ooh, that sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, and so in my head, I was going to make between $200 and $250 a year.
250,000?
Yeah, which,
Sheesh.
especially back then, couldn't even comprehend that much money a year.
Yeah.
Like, you're living in.
What's the insurance like on that kind of job?
Uh,
What if you kill somebody? What, you put so much in there?
So nurse anesthetist is it's the exact same thing as nurse practitioner, except you're under an anesthesia doctor instead of a practice doctor.
So you're like assisting these like doctors basically, but you're
so they are usually the ones putting them to sleep. A nurse anesthetist is.
Then what does the doctor do?
The anesthesia doctor. Now, this is typically, or from what I've seen in my experience and like the stuff I've set in on, the anesthesiologist is the person who's like telling you exactly how much to administer, what to administer, if there's an allergen, what your alternatives are. Like,
so they're the offensive coordinators.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like they're like overseeing everything, and then your nurses and your nurse anesthetists and your nurse practitioners, they're like actually doing it.
That is crazy. Mm-hmm. So I just think, going back to if I would ever do something like that, I feel like
it's like 8 years of school.
8 years to be a nurse practitioner?
Nurse anesthetist, nurse practitioner.
What about doctor?
Doctor, it's usually it's kind of hard now because I think it's 8, and then you have to do your 4 years residency, and then you have to try and get a job. So it's like 12 years to become a doctor.
I just think if I'm going to do the 8, I might as well go be a doctor.
Yeah, that's actually the best piece of advice I ever had from a guy in high school before I graduated. It was our superintendent, and he came and he said, you know, everyone talks about how long it's going to take you to do something when you're in school. Don't think about that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be 28 either way.
Yeah, either way.
Doesn't matter. You're going to have to turn 28, and you get to decide what you've done whenever you turn 28.
Are you talking about for you when you're 20 or what? Well, if you're 18.
This you're talking about high school. Okay. Yeah, it's because everyone just says it takes 10 years to become a doctor. That's all everybody was talking about in high school is like, you know, I'm not going to be a doctor. It takes 10 years to go to school. I can't go to school that long, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he just says, and he wasn't meaning doctor specific, but like you're going to be 28 either way. What
do people that are what do people usually do to make money? Do they still get paid for like hours that they work at the hospitals or anything?
They do, yeah. So like when you're an intern for those last 4 years, I think you get paid. It's not because
they got to make a living to pay for apartments. And stuff.
A lot of times that's where like, you know, the national student debt average and stuff. A lot of times they're having to take those loans.
Well, what is crazy to me, I would like to see what somebody who went to school to be a doctor, what their loans look like.
What I think would be more interesting is someone who went to school to be a doctor in like the 80s and 90s that's still practicing, and compare it to like somebody who's like fresh out and see what their loans were like because of inflation.
I can't imagine.
I bet it would be 10 times.
It would be insane. I mean, think about every year. I mean, you're having to pull out loans to pay for your stuff, and then finally you get your payday, but then you're like, oh, I got to pay student loans back, and I'm going to be paying them till I'm 60 or wherever it is. I mean, some people pay them for a long time. It depends on your payments, I guess, but that's crazy.
Well, and that's why you're seeing so much of these shortages, even in certain like family practice doctors and stuff like that. Everyone's either going to specialize or they're trying to do telemedicine, and so you're having a shortage because everyone's trying to make more money to pay off more debts.
It's insane to me. I don't know a ton about it. There's a lot of stuff going on with that industry, but I mean that's crazy that you were gonna you were like thinking about being a nurse.
So
complete change.
Well, yeah. So I did that. I was in my third year at A-State. It was real late. I'd had a pretty rough week. It was like 2-3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I was studying, and I still had like 2 more hours to go of studying.
Yeah.
And I just did some I don't remember exactly what happened, but I just stopped reading, shut my book, and just started doing a lot of self-reflecting.
Yeah.
And literally an hour later, I decided I can't do this. This isn't for me. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to do this the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to have to, because once you graduate, you still have to keep up with medicine. You still have to keep studying and do all this paperwork.
Sounds terrible.
And I just could not do it. The money just wasn't worth it to me.
Yeah.
So literally the next day, went and dropped all my classes. Called my mom after I dropped my classes, and I said,
"Wait, you dropped what? Was this mid-semester or end?"
This was mid-semester.
Mid-semester.
Well, it was like, it was halfway through the fall semester.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And you just said, "I'm dropping all my classes."
I said, "I'm not doing it."
You had no plan though.
Nope.
You just wanted to drop them.
Nope.
Did you tell your mom before?
No. No. I went and dropped all my classes, and they were like, "Well, you have to declare a major if you're not going to be in the nursing program anymore." Yeah. I was like, "Okay, I'll do business."
Yeah.
And really, it was just because as a kid with my grandparents and with my mom, I'd just been around business.
Yeah.
And I know that you can do so much with business.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you're broad and you have no plan, like you can go to law school, you can do CPA, you can do
everything,
whatever. So I was like, okay, business.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, these are the only classes. I had to at least scrap for like 12 hours. So like I took like a sign language class, like a Spanish class, and then like 2 part-time like business classes that were compacted. So got that major in, and then next semester did business again.
At Arkansas State?
At Arkansas State.
That's Jonesboro, right?
Yeah.
Arkansas State, Jonesboro.
And so that first half of the semester, whenever I had to add all those new classes, I took, it was an apportionate pre-law class, and I was super interested in it.
This guy's going all over the map here.
I know.
Changing it up.
I know. So I took that and was really interested in it. I was like, maybe I want to go to law school. Like that'd be kind of cool. I can argue with people. You know, that's going to make me some money.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people say that.
Yeah. What they don't tell you about law school is how much you got to read, but I'll get to that in a minute. So
I would hate it.
So that next semester, I'm really heavily thinking about law school.
Yeah.
Like, thinking I'm wanting to do this. I might declare as pre-law. And out of nowhere, I get a text message from a guy that used to be a coach at Batesville, I think.
Yeah.
But he was a lead recruiter at Lyon College in Batesville.
Okay.
And they're like top pre-med and pre-law school.
Yeah.
And like there's a 99% acceptance rate.
At Lyon?
Yeah, at Lyon.
Really?
Into both of those. And they have 100% in a dental for the past 3 years.
How can you be 100%? That's crazy.
If you go to Lyon and then you go to a dental school, you get accepted.
That's wild. I didn't know they had that leverage.
And that's why they are the first school in the state of Arkansas to open a vet school and a dental school.
Wow.
So I think
pretty impressive.
I think they're doing a med school. Maybe I think it's just vet and dental.
Yeah.
But he texted me, was like, hey, we got some spots open. Saw that you weren't doing nursing anymore.
Yeah.
They've been trying to recruit me since I got out of high school.
You played in high school too?
Yeah. So played at high school, went to 3 state champions.
Dang.
3 state championships.
Is that at Batesville?
Yeah. 5A.
5A.
Lost all 3 state championships. Probably the only guy you know that's lost 3 state championships.
Yeah. 3 in a row?
3 in a row. The first one we got handed to, we played Greenwood. They had like a 50-game win streak. The other 2 were really close, and we just couldn't pull them out, man.
Couldn't pull them out. That's crazy that 3 in a row and just
3 in a row.
Boom, lost.
And we were one of the most winningest classes in Batesville history.
Yeah.
And the last one we really should have won. We just had a lot of stuff happen.
Yeah, I would be pretty down in the dumps if I went 3-0, like 0-3. That's crazy.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I know, right? Rehash the old memories. So now you're thinking about transferring, or?
So yeah, I'm thinking about that one really hard. What I always like to reiterate is like I just keep thinking like, whenever I'm making these decisions, like what's gonna get me a bag? Like what's gonna
be
make
the best
the most
move?
money? Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm going to do it. I like that pre-law. I'm liking my whatever I was doing. And I was taking accounting, but it was kind of law-based too, and I was doing really good. And it was crazy. Like, I went from being a bad student, then I taught myself to be a student. Like, I was just like, okay, I have to do this. And then
I feel like law would be about as hard as nursing.
But it came easier to me. Okay. Like, nursing, I was studying till 3 or 4 in the morning. And, like, there was people that they'd study till 10 and go to sleep and be okay. Golly. And I just could not regurgitate that information like that. And law was so much more conceptual and to me anyways, and it made sense to me in all these business classes and accounting classes. Like it was kind of like my nursing friends that I was envious of. Like I was just having to go to class, study a little bit, and then take the test, and I was doing really good at it, you know.
Yeah. Hey, that one, it should be good. See if click that little button to the right. The top button there. Is it still on? Yeah. All right, we're good. Anyways, but
so it just was coming easy to me, and so I was like, I could really like this. I think I want to give the law school thing a try. And so I signed with my letter to transfer to Line College.
Yeah.
So moved from Jonesboro, Arkansas State to Line College. Had a business degree. It was my with an emphasis in financial management, minor in economics, and then emphasis on pre-law.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
Yeah, and
that's
it was a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
Going to like a smaller college like that.
So, and they had a football team, so that's the main reason why.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and the program.
Lions, I mean, like cost-wise, it's similar to Harding cost-wise. So it was really expensive.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard for me, especially when I first graduated high school and they were trying to recruit me and stuff. Because, like, I'm from there. I didn't really want to stay in Batesville.
You're like
Lion wasn't, like, a prestigious thing to me. And then once I went to college, I understood the value of, like, the prestige that Lion had.
Yeah. I mean, if it's there, you got to go for it.
And so them paying for my college was like, oh, yeah, I'll go play football and not have to have a job.
Yeah.
Like, that'll be my job.
Definitely a change, for sure.
Yeah, so went through it, did the college thing again. But it was kind of fun coming in because I actually lost a year. So I kind of got to come in as
So how old were you when you got to Lion?
That's a good question.
I suck with age.
I do too.
21-ish.
21-ish.
And you'd already done what? How many years of school?
I was supposed to come in as a senior.
Okay, so you came in as
I came in as a junior. And so did my junior year. Did everything, did it well. Got into my senior year, and so I was still doing all the business pre-law stuff. And whenever I was at Jonesboro, I'd always been fascinated with a drive-through coffee shop concept. It's called Shadrack's. Their coffee was good. It was the first like real good drive-through coffee.
Yeah.
Like I'd had good coffee before, but like drive-through coffee to where it's like you taste it and you're like, oh man, that's it right there. And they were always just super busy. Their vibe was cool.
Yeah,
so it was just fascinated to me.
They've got a bunch of locations in Jonesboro.
Yeah. And so this opportunity came up to be able to do an entrepreneurship class.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. Like, that's going to be an easy credit.
It's going to be an easy one,
It's going to be an easy credit. And so I take it, and it starts to get really interesting because our teacher, Dr. Buchanan, she says, we're going to really act like you're doing this.
Really?
I want to see, like, strict budgets.
She wanted numbers and everything?
She said, if you don't have numbers, I will fail you.
Really?
Yeah.
She wants it serious.
Like, she said, you're going to pitch this to real investors.
I was about to say, were you ever nervous she would steal an idea you had?
So we had to basically sign this thing that said that they were our ideas.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So that was pretty cool. That's a good thing about having a college.
Sometimes I hate when colleges, like I had experiences in college where they would outsource, like a company, like a media company would say, hey, y'all come write up a couple articles for us and we're going to use them on our site. I'm like, whoa.
Free labor.
Free labor, dude.
Yeah.
You just beat the system. Like,
my experience at Lion wasn't like that. Like they were very like, this is your stuff. They want you to, and so I think they were more nervous about someone trying to sue them for it.
I had a similar entrepreneurship class at Harding, and we did a business plan, and we were supposed to go really. Dr. Key's the one who teaches it, but he does a whole thing about how he started his own company, his chocolate business, and he makes us do a whole business plan. So I think it's similar to kind of like what you're talking about. Those are like, it's a lot of work to come up with all that, and the numbers is where I struggled because everybody can come up with an idea if you have that mindset.
Yeah.
But when you start putting the numbers down, startup cost, overhead, what do you need to do? Do you need a loan? Where are you going to put it? And all that stuff, it starts getting tricky.
Were you in the class? with me at Lion?
Yeah,
I swear that's exactly like what happened. Like immediately I was like, oh, I want to see what a coffee shop would do here. You know, like in Batesville locally. And but her emphasis after that was, I want you to do a local market test, a statewide market test, and then a national market test. And she was extremely hands-on. Like she probably worked way more hours than she was supposed to, trying to help everybody. But it was extremely beneficial. So we went through this. It was actually me and a couple other guys. Friend Shug, shout out Shug, and then
shout out Shug.
Dennis. His name's Andrew, but everybody called him Dennis.
That's funny.
And so they pretty much let me take the lead on that because I already knew what I wanted to do and stuff. And then I started thinking like kind of serious about it, whether I wanted to do, the law school thing or try and give that a shot. And so, I don't remember exactly what happened, but basically went through the class.
Yeah.
Had different levels, and then we had to as a class put together a legit like business pitch,
Like a plan for the whole business,
well,
or like something you would pitch
so,
to investors.
No, so like we put these business plans together.
Yeah.
And then we were in charge of going out into the community,
Like with your stuff.
and find. Well, no.
Okay.
So like we say like us three were in a group. Right?
Yeah.
We had to at least go find 5 people that would attend, like would guarantee attend.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you find 5?
I was finding people for every group, because especially once I decided that I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Like I had the mayor there, I had the parks director there.
So you
I had
got
like
after it.
every business guy that I knew there.
That's funny.
I was like, I'm going to pitch this to
That's
these guys.
awesome.
And so I ended up, so as I'm doing all this, I'm also like still in the mindset of like, I'm going to go make all this law money.
Yeah.
And so I'm going and touring law schools. I went and toured John Marshall in Chicago. I went and toured Memphis's law school, obviously, and then I think Little Rock's.
Euler or
Yeah.
UALR?
Yeah.
I always call it
Euler.
But they have a law school?
They have a actually pretty good law school.
That's pretty cool. So you were touring those places, or just like
Yeah,
looking at them?
I went and toured them, like stayed in them.
Yeah.
I took my LSAT, did a 164, which is pretty good. Like it'll get you accepted.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
It's really good. Like it gets you accepted into a lot of colleges.
Yeah.
And I just I do this thing. It's similar to what I have in nursing, I guess, where I start talking to people in the industry and like seeing what their day to day is like.
Yeah, you want to know what they're doing.
Yeah,
'cause, I mean,
it's
if you're
easy
about
to say
do-
like, yeah, I make $250K a year,
Yeah.
but like, how many hours you putting in?
Uh-huh.
Are you studying on the side?
Yeah.
What are you doing to make $250K?
Yeah.
And one of my really good mentors from whenever I was younger had actually went from being a teacher to a lawyer. He loves it.
Yeah.
But he was like, man, you're reading all day.
Yeah.
And so
That's crazy.
I have ADHD, and I just started thinking about having to read for 12 hours a day.
Can't do it.
Can't
I
do
hate
it.
reading. I've read a few books in my life, but yeah, most of the books in school I just skimmed
And-
or looked up Spark Notes.
Well, and honestly, like I probably could have forced myself to do it. Like just like with the nursing, I was forcing myself to learn that. But whenever my first thought is, okay, I could pay for somebody to read and write for me if
Yeah.
I'm making that much money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That like
I just can't read because when I start reading, it's like I'll read a few lines and then I can't remember anything because I think of other things while I'm reading.
just a question that I had talked about with somebody the other day. How do you think?
How do I think?
Like, do you think in terms of words, pictures, or videos?
Probably pictures or video. I'm more visual, I feel.
Like when we're sitting here talking and you're thinking, like, are you like playing like a movie in your head?
Yeah.
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 There's people, this blows my mind because
I'm
my
playing a
brain doesn't
movie in
work
this
like
thing.
this. There's people that like think in words.
Think in words.
So like when they're talking, they're seeing the words that they're saying
That's
instead
crazy.
of like,
I feel like if I thought hard about it, I could do that. But like,
yeah,
I got
like
a whole
your
movie up
natural-
in this thing.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
So like how your memory recall.
Yeah.
Mine too is like you're recalling pictures, videos,
I
scenarios.
got the
like
4K
that kind of
cinema
stuff.
in this brain. Freaking,
Yeah.
I can just see everything. It's crazy.
I didn't even know that was a thing until like a couple months ago. That blew
Yeah,
my
I mean,
mind.
that's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. But anyways, while I'm reading, that's why I forget most stuff
Yeah,
is because I start picturing it and then I'm like, wait, what?
What?
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that. And about halfway through that semester, just started thinking about that so much and just thinking about like, I can always come back to law school.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if-
does your score stay? Like you can use that again? Or
it
what?
lasts 5 years,
Oh,
but I
5 years.
mean, if you study and you're educating yourself, you know, it's not going to change.
Yeah.
Like your mind doesn't age like your body,
Yeah.
you know? And so that's kind of the mindset that I approached it whenever I was like, I'm a risk-loving personality.
Yep.
I have a little bit of money, but I have a lot of willpower, and I'm young.
Okay. That's a good way to look at it.
And so I was like, I'm not going to get these young years back to be able to take risk whenever I've got a family going, but I can pivot and come back to the law school thing if the business thing doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And so I'd gotten accepted to Memphis,
Yeah.
and
Got the
that's
acceptance.
where I was going to go. And so again, had to go into mom's shop and
Oh my gosh, your mom had to be like What are you doing?
My mom's been through it.
Was she like mad or what?
She was more mad this time than she was about me dropping my major.
Well, because at this time she's like, okay, it's a better track. We're doing good, and then you get accepted, and then what? You deliver some bad news.
Yeah. So, and my grandma was in there too.
Oh.
And they're the most supportive people.
Yeah.
This is the one time that they've not like been initially supportive.
Yeah.
So like I'm very fortunate for that.
Yeah.
But I told them like, hey, I'm not gonna go to law school. I'm gonna actually start a drive-through coffee shop.
No. What did she say to that?
They both pretty much. One of them specifically said this. I don't remember which one. I'm not going to call him out, but I think it was my mom. It might have been my grandma, but I think it was my mom said, "You're just going to throw your whole life away."
Oh my gosh!
But once they got over that initial shock, and we talked about it, and I was like, "No, like I have a legit plan. Like here's what I want to do. I can do it." Then my mom's first thing was, "You don't know anything about coffee."
Yeah.
I was like, "I can learn."
Mm-hmm. Can't be it. You're like,
it can't be that hard.
It can't be that hard.
That's what everybody in the coffee industry says when they get started.
They can't be
that hard. There's no way.
And then they find out it's a lot
you find
more
out
to it.
real quick.
Yeah.
So I actually one of the guys that was at the business pitch meeting was a landlord from some really good space in town, and was like, hey, I'll give you a really good lease rate at this location. Come by, help me get it built.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get started on it.
Really?
And I'll let you do it. And I was like, well, I got to get a loan.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to take some kind of money, It's like.
Yeah. So I start talking to all these banks and no idea what that process was.
Did you even know how to get a loan or like what that looked like?
No.
Well, and how old were you first off?
At this point, I'm 22, 23.
Really? Yeah.
I'm about your age.
Okay. Yeah. 22. Right.
Because that'd be 19. I was about 23.
Yeah.
Probably 22, 23. But anyways, no clue how to get a loan. Like didn't have any. I had like business connections, but not like bank connections because I was always broke.
Yeah.
Like, so just started calling banks like, hey, what I need to do? What do you guys require? Blah, blah, blah. Starting to kind of learn. And I had some stuff happen that was kind of weird small town stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up at this First Community Bank in Batesville. Really, really awesome bank. And I got a loan officer. His name is Chris Milam.
Yeah.
Most awesome guy ever.
Yeah.
Helped me with every single process and was like, he knew I had no clue what I was doing.
Really?
But that I had a passion and I was going to do this.
Yeah.
And so,
well, that's good that he like saw you what you wanted to do and like helped push that forward. There's a lot of people out there that they see young people doing stuff or they see young people trying to do it and they shove them away.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're not ready for that.
No, or they think that because somebody else is going to be doing something that you want to do that you're not capable.
Or they just don't give young people the time of day because they think that they can deal with people that have a lot more money, a lot more experience. Yeah. They don't want to deal with the young person.
Exactly. And literally I had dealt with people like that before coming to Chris. And so that's why I was really nervous. But when I got in there and he was like, oh, man, you need to do this.
Yeah.
This is how you need to structure this. I'll be able to do this on my end. And he gave me a list. He said, get all of this to me by X. I'll get you your money by here.
Really?
Yeah.
So he gave you like a list of things you had to get to be able to get the money?
Right. So like, it was like, here's the amount that you need for like a secured down payment.
Yeah.
Here's what else I need in your business plan.
Yeah.
Here is when I need your LLC filings by. I need your operating agreement.
It's a lot of work, basically.
It's a lot of stuff. And I had no money, so like I didn't have a lawyer. So I had to go file my LLC myself. I had to write up my own operating agreement.
Yeah.
And it was very not good. I mean, I don't have $1,000.
And you weren't graduated yet, or
no? You were
doing this before graduation.
Yeah, this was all probably 2 months before graduation, and I'm building the building at this point. Before I get
so you're building it, still in school, working on the back end stuff. You're helping this guy, but did he give you like a deal on the place to help build it, or?
I mean, yeah, kind of,
sort of.
I mean, like average rent probably was going for that size building like $800.
Yeah,
and so it was going to be a $600 a month lease.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was $640, but he was throwing in a storage unit.
Oh, well, shoot.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I mean, it was a good deal.
Yeah, it is a good deal.
And you know this, but I wanted it more for like the experience of like I had never built a building.
Yeah. Learning all the aspects.
Learning everything, what goes into it, so you can know whenever you're hiring out for another building.
Well, you have greater appreciation and love for it. I mean,
Yeah.
that was like the building that you started with, that you learned you literally helped build it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and like my biggest takeaway is stuff like this. Like whenever we were about to pour concrete, he was like, it's really expensive if you pay someone to come pour concrete because you have to pay for the material.
Really?
But then you have to pay $4 a square foot.
Gosh.
And you're like, why $4 a square foot? That is crazy.
Yeah,
you got 1,000 square foot here.
Yeah.
$4,000 for this little pad. And then you start pouring it and you're like,
no wonder.
I'd be charging $10 a square foot.
Yeah. Because it's hot. It's hot out there. And
dude.
like, stuff's not easy.
It's not easy to work with. If you don't know what you're doing, you've got hills, bad drainage problem. It's a whole thing.
It could be a whole process.
But it was me, him, and one other guy, and him and the other guy kind of rotated, and I was kind of like the workhorse. They'd be like, go lift this, go do that.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures. We need to put one up on there.
Yeah, we'll have to
put a picture of Zach. Yeah, I'll have to throw one up there. The long hair.
Yeah, the long hair. Yeah. That was the good stuff.
That's crazy. So 2 months leading up to graduation, you're helping build the building. I mean, we've got all the back end stuff going with the LLC, the money situation, figuring out all the stuff. You're actually like trying to make this happen. Mm-hmm. You're about to graduate from college. This is what you want to do. It's like you're manifesting it.
Yeah, and like I'm just obsessing about it.
Yeah,
like
you're
it's
obsessed,
like I'm in class, but I'm writing stuff about business.
You think you have to be obsessed to do this though? You have to get obsessed with it.
If you're not obsessive, I think especially at a young age.
Yeah.
I think as you get older, you can learn more discipline and like accurately do stuff and make less mistakes. I think if you're gonna do it, you got to know that you're gonna make mistakes. But if you're not obsessed about it, and it's not like in your breathing, it's really tough. It's really, really tough.
I could imagine. I mean,
it's
a lot going on.
Like, think about, like, I watched, to learn coffee, and I'll get there here in a minute, but to learn coffee, I probably watched 3 days total of YouTube.
Of videos? YouTube videos? What were you watching? Just like how they pour the shots or what?
I didn't know anything.
Yeah, you didn't know what.
The first thing I looked up was looking up how to pull an espresso shot.
That is so crazy to me. It's like we as people just like, because like in school, if I would have had to watch like a stupid video, I would not watch it. But like if it's something I want to learn about, I'll watch that thing.
If you can't get it out of your head, and you're like, I got to know how to do this.
So you're sitting here watching the YouTube videos and like just learning this stuff.
I'm thinking, I don't know how to pull a shot. I got to go to law school.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, so,
that's just a complete difference in like paths for sure.
Well, and I think like I said, the point that I like to make is, I made that decision off of like, I don't know if I want to read. I don't know if I want to be studying. Mm-hmm. I can go and work and obsess over something that I care about.
Yeah, exactly.
And the money was out of it. Yeah. And I quit thinking about the money. And I think I was lucky to land on coffee.
Yeah.
I just picked something that I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Whenever I was in school, something that ended up having a really good market reach, something, of that nature. So, so 2 months out, graduation.
Yeah.
Doing all this, it gets into finals week, and we find out that there's another coffee shop with the exact same model and everything going to open.
Wait. Whoa. What's happening here? So this is how many weeks before graduation?
This probably, it's like a week before finals.
Week before finals. So we're looking at like
3 weeks probably.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you're in the midst of building this building, and you say another one?
There's another drive-through coffee shop, similar like style, the shack, the coffee shack, dual drive-through, going in across town. They've started construction.
No way.
Launched their Facebook. Like, it's identical to everything they were doing.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you know the people?
So not at first, and we started asking around a little bit who's doing this, and it ended up being 4 really big business guys.
Yeah, were they the ones you talked to?
No.
That would be bad. No. Jeez. No. Sparked a whole thing there. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit more that went into it. We can get into that at another time.
We're going to do an episode of the coffee wars.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to get into that.
Yeah, we'll do that eventually. So they'll have to come back for that one.
But anyways, so, in my head, I'm just thinking hustle and compete. Like, that's all I know at this point.
I mean, were you a little bit nervous, though? I mean, I would be a little bit like, what the heck?
When you're obsessive and competitive, and I committed already.
You're
I'm like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It just went to that, like, well, all I can think of is like that athlete mentality of like, I'm gonna beat you. Like, it was no nervousness because it was like that fight or flight mode of like, I got to do it.
Now, there wasn't many coffee shops already like established there, or was there a lot of them?
No, there was just sit down coffee shops.
Okay,
so
like
like
cafes and stuff.
whenever I did my market analysis, the biggest competitor was actually McDonald's for drive-through coffee.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I've had a caramel macchiato from there. It's just straight. It's not good. It's
sugar.
Yeah, sugar and.
For their consumer.
For the average consumer who doesn't know anything about coffee, they're gonna think that's like coffee.
They're getting the caffeine and sugar.
And that used to be me before I started getting into it. So I mean, I could see how that could be a pretty big drive for people.
Yeah. So I mean, there was Morningside. I love Morningside. Their scones are fire.
Yeah.
He's from Canada. He's got like this Canadian scone recipe.
Okay.
It's not a typical scone. It's not like a dense scone.
Yeah.
It's kind of biscuity. It's really cool.
Biscuity. I'm not much of a scone guy, but
I'll get you one. That's good.
I have to try one.
But they're good. They use a local roaster. It just wasn't my kind of coffee, And then the Pinto was sit down only. And they did like tacos and stuff like the burritos and
with
stuff
coffee?
like that with coffee. Yeah, it was a little interesting concept. It was downtown.
That would be a trip to the bathroom.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a cool little spot though. It was more of the vibe and like hipster-ish and that kind of stuff.
The hipster movement.
Like their drip coffee was called the Dancing Goats.
The Dancing Goats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So but no, there wasn't really a lot of drive-throughs. So all of a sudden, you go from like no coffee to like these two drive-through coffee shops. Yeah, and so back to the way I was thinking, my mentality is like, I got to get this thing built. Yeah, I've got to be open first. Whoever opens first, they'll come and try. Everyone's going to come and try me first if I get open first. If they get open first, I will be compared to them.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my mindset. So if I get open first, they will be compared to me. And as long as I make that customer happy, it doesn't even really matter if it's good or not.
Yeah.
And if people know me, I want to be compared to, not people comparing me to somebody else.
Yeah.
It was my mindset. And so I started working. Literally, I would get there at 5:30 in the morning.
Really?
Work until my 9. Go to a class.
At the building, you're saying?
Yeah. I would work 5:30 to 9 in the morning.
Okay.
Then go to class.
Boom.
Start studying for finals.
Uh-huh.
In any lunch breaks or anything, go back. Start doing it. And then I'd get out of class at 3. And then I go back to the building, stay there till the sun went down.
Jeez. You're grinding at this point.
Grinding.
Like that is
long
insane.
days.
How many people were helping with this whole like building?
Literally me, the guy, and one other guy.
So just 3 people?
3 people. And if I wasn't there, they weren't working.
Dang. That's impressive. So y'all had to get it up.
What
was the original like timeline if y'all were to like not grind as hard on it?
If we weren't gonna grind as hard, it was supposed to be July 1st, I think.
Really? And then we're in like April to May or what?
Yeah. It would have been more around May.
Okay.
And so it's like I think I graduated May 13th.
Okay.
And we were really close at that point.
Yeah.
But we didn't have like a lot of sealant on the concrete.
All the
and
good
like
stuff.
we were like finishing the stuff off.
Yeah.
And so get it built, and I know at this point I'm going to be able to open before them, but I haven't announced my opening date because there was some like kind of sketchy stuff going on. And so June 4th, I did a surprise soft open. And at this point, 2 days before we opened, I'd pulled my first shot of espresso.
Yeah.
Like it's the first time
First time ever, didn't you? You told me one time you did like was it a Mr. Coffee or what was it?
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Okay, yeah. So like a week and a half before we opened, I was trying to figure out our menu and stuff, right? And my mom was like, "You better do something," because I couldn't turn the espresso machines on because we didn't have our water hooked up yet.
Gotcha.
And so I had like $100 in my bank account, and I went and bought a Mr. Coffee espresso machine from Walmart for like was like $70.
Oh my gosh. I forgot they have those.
Oh yeah. And
espresso machines.
Yeah, espresso machine. And so I started pulling shots and like trying to make my tentative recipes off of that. Started making smoothies. I was up to like midnight making smoothies because we were using yogurt and fruit.
Yeah.
And shakes and all that kind of stuff. So I was building the menu with this Mr. Coffee machine and like this little blender that we had.
Weird plug for Mr. Coffee.
Yeah. Give us a shout out.
Give him a shout out. Sponsor us.
Yeah. So yeah, we pulled shots 2 days before we opened, and that was literally just because that's when the water got shut on or turned on. And we actually were pulling singles through double spouts. Like it was a mess. It was a whole mess. We figured it out, but that first week it
was rough. Huh?
It was rough.
So who were you reaching out to help like get prepared to open this place? Like you had to have a team.
So I was just calling buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So like I had this from Peyton Tovey. Shout out Peyton.
Yeah.
And for real, shout out Peyton, because Peyton helped me. He helped me lay concrete.
Really?
Towards the end when I was like crunching, like I had to pour a drive through.
Oh god.
Which is that's the like I think that was like 7,800 square feet, and I couldn't do that by myself.
Yeah.
And we did it in 2 days.
Dang.
He came. I was like, dude, I don't have a lot of money. He was like, just pay me when you get open.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So he came and helped pour the concrete, helped do anything.
Yeah.
He helped paint the inside of the walls.
Dang.
Sister-in-law, just all these different people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling and like, hey, can you help me for an hour? Hey, can you come taste this?
Yeah.
Hey, come try this, you know? So start learning how to pull the shots, start learning how to do everything. We get to grand opening day, the soft opening day. Had to run in with the water department then before the soft opening. So we announced it, and an hour later, the water department showed up and was like, you can't open.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
it's always the dang freaking city that's stopping people from doing things.
It really is.
I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy. Because we got our health inspection that morning.
Yeah.
And kept it kind of low key. But we ended up doing it, turned the open side on, did pretty good. And then we announced on Facebook, and no one knew this either, that we were going to open the next day.
Boom.
Like grand opening.
Just opening.
Just did it.
No big plan, just open right now.
And the other coffee shop was still 2 weeks out.
Oh,
so I was like,
cut them by 2 weeks.
I'm going to get 2 weeks of traction.
Dang.
If I would have been on my original timeline, I would have been 2 weeks behind.
Really?
Yeah.
So you beat them to it.
Mm-hmm. And they had like,
how many?
Dude, I can't even tell you how many people they had working on their shop. Like when we announced that we were doing our soft opening, the next day when we did our grand opening, their crews doubled. Like they had 6 plumbers out there.
Oh my god!
They had a whole highway department paving their parking lot. Like it was insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And you know, at this point, so when we do our grand opening, we had like 1,000 people like our Facebook page the first day that we launched it, and I think at this point we got up to like.
So Batesville definitely had a need for the drive-through coffee.
Yeah. Well, and so like my mom had her hair shop. My mom has a hair shop.
Yeah.
And she kind of knows a lot of like people in the community.
Yeah.
And so they kind of know my story, where we come from. Like the troubled past. And they were really supportive. Like it's really incredible the way that our community supported us in the beginning.
Well, word of mouth is like the best marketing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't beat it. It's the most authentic, the most sale-driven marketing. I mean, people love hearing what people have to say about something.
Yeah. Well, and it spreads so fast, especially if it's a good story. That was Starbucks' biggest marketing tool for the long time. You ever listen to Howard Schultz speak? Mm-hmm. He says word of mouth is the key.
It's crazy.
And I mean, look what they've done.
Yeah,
20,000.
And there's always the bad side of that too. When you get the negatives, but I'm sure you were pretty busy when you first opened. I mean,
yeah. So we opened at 5. We met at 4:30. I had everybody up there.
4:30 a.m.
4:30 a.m.
Bright and early.
Anybody that was there, I appreciate it. Didn't know what was about to happen. Sorry. So we go through one more quick little run through on how to pull a shot. And we have these like cheat sheets. It was so bad.
I mean, how'd you know how to order like all the syrups and stuff just from your business plan thing?
I Googled coffee syrups. And so my business, when I was making that business plan, so it was like Trani, mine, and
yeah, you were just like, what do the people use?
And so I just was like, okay, I'm gonna go with Trani. It's cost effective, decent reviews. And so those 2 days beforehand, when we were pulling shots, I would get cups out, kind of like what I do now. Whenever I'm doing a drink special, I'd get cups out. I'd lay out 5 cups.
Yeah.
And I would get caramel.
Yeah.
I'd be like, here's how we're gonna make some caramel. I'd do 1 pump, 2 pump, 3 pump, 5 pump, all the way up to how many cups I had. Do a shot of espresso, and make it consistent, and try every single one of them.
Oh my!
And whichever one I was like, okay, that one's not bad. And then whichever one was closest, I'd take those 2.
Yep.
Take them to everybody that was there training.
That's crazy.
And then whichever one everyone.
How many
liked,
people do you think you had there to begin?
We started with between 8 and 12 people.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So did you like know exactly how the payroll and all that stuff would work? You kind of had to learn that too.
Yeah.
I mean, because now you're like, I I don't know. I mean, that's interesting because you had 8 to 12 going at it. You know, you're gonna have to pay these people, and
so I asked the landlord that had helped me. I asked him what to do, and he said you need to go find an accounting firm.
Yeah.
So then I just started asking my mom to ask her people that she knew,
connections and stuff.
Yeah, and they said go to this place called Sifford CPA.
Yeah.
They handle a lot of the bigger businesses. They're not outrageously expensive, and they're going to help you. So they gave me a bookkeeper. Her name was Sherry. Mm-hmm. I put Sherry through hell.
Like, she just was like, hey, got
she had a 22, 23-year-old kid with ADHD that did not know that the whole community was about to throw him into the water with his coffee shop. And I had no clue what she needed, what I was supposed to be telling her, what information she needed, anything like that. And so she pretty much did what Chris did. I need this stuff from you. Here's what I need and when. And here's when your pay cycles are going to be.
Gotcha. So she just helped you along the way. So it's all about just reaching out to your people and finding those people, I guess. But you got to find the right ones. And
I think
you learn through that, I guess.
One thing that helped me with like somebody like Chris and somebody like Sherry was not being afraid to say, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But if you'll tell me exactly what you need to make this happen, like to make payroll happen, I can get it for you.
I mean, because you're doing everything else. You're like, I'm trying to get this thing. I'm just trying to run the business, and y'all can deal with the
well, it wasn't even at that point. I'm still a little more hands-on. Like I'm wearing every hat.
You're still running everything.
I'm hand reporting like, hey, this person worked 40 hours. This person worked 26 hours, and like calling her on the phone. Like I'm calling all these people. Yeah. It's not as much now as where I have a team.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, hey, I need you to post this promo we're doing. Like I'm the one at 4 a.m. typing it up.
How many hours were you working? You think?
Oh man. When we first opened, I literally worked open to close 6 days a week for at least the first month and a half.
Wow.
After week 2, and it wasn't like I was like leaving. Like I would eat lunch in the loft and like take a nap in the loft.
Dang.
Like I was not leaving the store.
You were just
in case they needed me.
Getting it going.
Yeah. And so
because now you legit have something. You're like, I have this 2-week advantage.
There's no pause button.
Yeah, there's no pause. I mean, it's open.
There's no pause button. You know, you can't hit pause.
You have a busy day. You're like, well, it's gonna be even busier tomorrow.
Yeah.
At this rate. So.
Yeah. And so first day we opened. Like I said, we had that meeting, went through it, whatever.
Yeah.
And we have 867 cars show up the first day.
How many?
867 cars. Jeez. It was so crazy that the guy that was helping us with our point of sale from the bank, because I had First Community's point of sale at first, his name's Cliff. Cliff was helping us make coffee.
Wow.
That's how busy we were. Like he was like,
insane.
Whatever, brother, I got you. If you got any problems, let me know. I'm gonna come scoop ice cream.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Fun fact, espresso shakes killed it. Batesville never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
I sprained my wrist day 3.
Scooping
so much ice cream.
Sprained your wrist scooping ice cream.
Sprained my wrist.
That is insane.
Yeah, and the original cheat sheets wasn't like, like you put how many ounces, whatever. It was like 3 scoops, 4 scoops, 5 scoops.
Oh, so it was by the scoop.
Yeah, how much waste we probably had.
You're like, yeah, because your scoop is going to be bigger than a girl that's going to scoop it, or some guy that's not as strong as you.
I'm not the business person at that point. Like, I'm still learning. That's, you don't learn waste. Like, they don't emphasize that in school.
You just needed something to get it going. Yeah. You're like, we're going to 5 scoop this thing.
Yep. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's look at, like, you did all this work, you're putting in these hours, and then, you're graduated. And then, like, it just takes off. I mean.
Yeah, 867 in a small town. There's only 10,000 people in the town of Batesville. I mean, we did a little less than, was that 10% of the population day 1.
Dang.
And we didn't know what we were doing. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and say, that coffee was good.
So you think it was pretty bad?
I don't think the coffee was good.
At least you got some of those people back.
Because once we started figuring out, like, 3 and 6 months later, like, what we were doing, I'd be like, hey, like if I knew someone that came through and I hadn't seen them, I would go to their place of business and be like, hey, we brought y'all some drinks. Want y'all to try them.
That's great.
Because we had fixed it at that point.
Yeah,
I was very confident in our product at that point.
That's crazy.
You're wearing all these hats. You're wearing marketing, accounting, manager, owner, everything. Inventory.
Probably hearing all the feedback, everything.
Yeah, and like working 20 hours a day, like, I was taking the money home. Like I was coming up, counting the drawers and counting them down.
Gosh.
No one else was touching the drawers at that point because I wanted to learn systems.
Yeah. And what year was this?
This was 2019, yeah.
Dude, it's only 2022. You would have thought this was like 10 years ago.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know.
So like fast forward to now, like
Yeah.
after all that, like where you at? I mean, I know we can get into what I'm doing now with you in a second, but
Yeah.
I wanted to see like we'll just kind of update everybody. Like where's the store at? How many employees now?
So I think we have around 130 employees.
Whoop.
That's full and part.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Started with 8 to 12, and
my goal is like to be able to say that 500 people work for you would be so cool.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, that'd be
impact
nice.
500 people on a daily basis would be insane. But so we've rebranded. We've got coffee, chicken, and shakes going on.
Yeah.
Let's make today better is our slogan, not more than coffee. We closed the small stores down.
Yeah.
We've got the big stores, 4 lanes. Just doing the thing. We're getting ready to franchise and roll that kind of stuff out.
We'll show a couple pictures on here for them, dude.
Yeah. And so it's been a really fun, fast learning curve from where we're at. And the coffee we serve now is really good.
Yeah, it's really good. That's crazy. The story is so deep. We're gonna Zac's story is gonna flow through this podcast. Like he just shared so much good stuff. I mean, it's crazy. Like a young kid just grinding his way to just manifesting what he wanted to do after, contemplating so many different things.
And there's so much more that goes into it. That's what we were saying. It would be like a 5-hour podcast.
Yeah, we could talk for 10 hours about this, how all the kinks and everything that happened, but you'll hear about them throughout the show. We'll get into that different stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, give you a brief overview of me for the listeners. Just, I grew up in Cabot, Arkansas, so not too far away from Batesville. What is that? Probably like 45 minutes?
45 to an hour.
45 to an hour, yeah. Anyway, so I had no clue who Zac was up until last year, actually. So I graduated high school in 2018. Went to Harding University in 2018. Weird story how I got there. I kind of just followed one of my best friends. He ended up transferring, but I stayed. I said, I'm going to stick around. I kind of liked it. I had some friends I was making there. Yeah, he bailed on me, dude.
What?
Dude, my man Trey, shout out to Trey. He's an interesting guy, but he's really cool. But the man's transferred to like so many colleges. It's crazy.
You give him a shout out after he bailed on you? At Harding.
At Harding. He just didn't like the vibe.
Strict school.
Yeah, the strict school.
Okay.
We had a lot of rules at Harding. I'll tell you that much. Curfew. Y'all didn't have curfew at Lion?
No.
A-State didn't have curfew.
That's crazy. Lion's a religious college too.
Well, really?
They're a wet campus.
They're a wet campus?
In a dry county. They're a wet campus in a dry
county.
They're
a Christian university and they're wet?
They're Presbyterian.
That sounded so weird, that comment. Christian university and they're wet. Anyways, that's crazy. I mean, Harding is definitely dry.
Definitely dry.
So is Searcy. Searcy is a dry county, I guess. What is Batesville?
Batesville's dry.
They're dry, but they have like stipulations, I guess.
Well, it's easy to get a liquor
license. What is
a
wet campus? Like you can have alcohol?
So like they're creating a brewing class
for alcohol.
For alcohol on campus. They're gonna have a pub.
At a Christian school?
They're gonna have a pub on campus.
Is it? It's not like advertised as a Christian school, is it?
Yeah.
Is that what the Presbyterians are turning up? Presbyterians, they're just turning up. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. If you drink alcohol at Harding, you're kicked out. It's crazy.
If you're of age at Lion, you're actually you can at a party. Well, so I've heard.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. I enjoyed my experience at Harding. Great learning. Mm-hmm. I met a lot of good connections there. But I will say there is so many rules that not everybody can go to Harding, and most people that go to Harding. You got two different kinds of people. You got the people that are going to follow the rules. You got the people that are going to break every single rule there is and just keep it under wraps, kind of hide it. But it's
crazy.
Like
that help you be more disciplined?
Well, from my background, I came into it and I was like, I had been hanging out with a lot of guys in the youth group that I went to in Cabot because that was kind of where my friends hung out. But I was never like the cool, popular party kid in high school. Like there was parties that we got invited to, but I was always like just kind of like vibing along, just doing other stuff. If I was going to do anything, it was going to be with just a small group of people. So coming to Harding wasn't like a total shock, but it was a shock in the sense that everybody just seemed so like nice, It just seemed so like it felt like a church camp. It felt like a church camp. No joke. Like the first couple weeks I was there, I was like, this is like a extended church camp. I don't know if I like it yet. It's kind of weird. Like, when are we going to hit reality, you know?
That's a really good description.
I think if I would have stayed in the dorm at Harding, you would have kept feeling like that. I mean, you got the community showers. That's crazy.
What?
Yeah, community showers.
Community showers.
I saw a lot of things I did not want to see.
But
yeah, community shower's pretty rough. And it's just disgusting. I mean, there's no need to put 20 guys in a same bathroom. That's never good.
That's never.
Dude, one guy actually
needed.
set off the fire extinguisher. Like, he just started blowing it everywhere. It was a football player. and then Harding got him in trouble, and then the coach kicked him off the team. That's how serious they are over there. They don't play the games. Like, if you want to make a mistake like that,
Playing with a fire extinguisher
before setting it off in the hallway, because we had to, dude, it was
I thought you were talking
bad.
about in the shower.
Well, in the bathroom in the hallway, he just came upstairs from a different floor. They had I lived in freshman year above the football floor. The rowdiest guys.
Oh,
he came up trying to pull a prank, grabbed a fire extinguisher, started spraying it down the hallway into the bathroom when people were in the shower. And so, if you've ever been hit with a fire extinguisher, this is my first time ever. You will
got you?
Yeah, he got me. I ran outside. I was like, "What is happening?" He's spraying it in the hallway. You walk out in that hallway. You walk in the hallway, you can't breathe. It's crazy. It's probably worse than a fire. Actually, I would not be surprised. That stuff is no good.
That's crazy.
Anyways, the dorm was crazy at Harding. I broke every rule. I got written up so many. I got fined $250 freshman year in the Harding dorms.
What?
Yeah, in college, because we had RAs. Did y'all have those?
Yeah.
Well, did you have RAs that walk in your room at midnight to make sure you're there?
Definitely not.
Okay. Well, sometimes I would purposely be like in my boxers, just like standing up, ready to moon the guy if he walked in, because I was like tired of this guy just creeping in my room.
That is.
I mean,
that's the rule, though.
Yeah, the RA has like a hallway at Harding, and they have to go into the rooms and basically say, "Hey, are you here? Where's your roommate?" If they're not in the room, they have to like check off saying they're in the room. Like,
no, they say the RA's job and most state colleges is just make sure that no one's dead.
yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be? I mean, do they check the rooms or?
I think they do like
Health.
it's like a quarterly check, and it is more to just make sure that you don't have like garbage everywhere,
or like some mold growing on the floor.
Yeah, or like a homeless person living with you. Or something.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like somebody living with you, but it's like once a quarter. Like they don't.
It's insane, dude. Harding was a great experience in the dorm, except I would never do it again because, I mean, I got out of there as quick as I could. I think I did one dorm at Harding freshman year. Then sophomore year, I went to another dorm, and then by junior year, I was out. I was finding a way to get out of the dorm, and really, it's hard to get out. When you go to Harding, they want you to stay in the dorm for 3 years of your college. You only go to college for 4.
That's like the expectation.
Yeah. Because they don't let you off. Your requirements you're not going to meet those requirements to get off campus until you have enough hours, and you don't get those hours until senior year almost. So my thing was, how can I get off campus? And I was kind of like, from my background, I came in as an independent. I didn't really have parents paying for school or anything. Mm-hmm. So I marked, they knew I was an independent student, didn't have family. So I found a house with some guys and just said, hey, this is my house. And they were like, yeah, we can't argue that. I mean, you can say that you're an independent person. You live here now in White County. So I got to move off campus, and I was like out of there, done with the curfew crap. The only downside to doing that at Harding is you miss out on a lot of experiences because the environment is so dorm heavy. Like that's not a lot of people are off campus.
So similar. Like if you're a commuter at Lion, you don't know how. Like everybody on campus that's in the dorms, be like, oh, who's Jessica? And you're like, I don't know. It's just so different.
It's crazy. And so like my background, like you were talking about troubled past, like I come from that as well. Like with I was in foster care at 16 and then stayed in, and I opted in to stay into foster care is why I even had the chance to go to college. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying when you were thinking about the Navy stuff, like doing that to get your college paid for, and then luckily the football thing worked out in the scholarship. I was able to get half off tuition at Harding. So at some days I was like, why am I roasting some of these things Harding's doing? Because like they're giving me like half off tuition. I mean,
there's a lot at Harding.
That's a lot for Harding. Like, I don't even know what the rates are right now. But so I was getting that plus my local scholarships, everything. I was getting stacking these scholarships up to where I didn't owe any money. In fact, I made money the first 2 years at Harding.
Did you really?
So the first year they let me stack every single scholarship, so I had the half off. Then I had scholarship that Harding gave me for academics, for ACT and all that, which my score was like a 22. It sucks. ACT's stupid. I can go on a tangent about that. I think standardized testing like that is dumb. I mean,
it's so stupid.
Anyways, I did terrible on that. So I was getting all these scholarships. I think I made $3,000 the first semester at Harding.
From Harding?
Yeah. I made $3,000.
How were you as a student in high school?
In high school, I was more so like trying to. I guess I was a little bit of a nerd, I think.
Really?
I had straight A's in high school. I did it as a way to like. I just hated like I feel like I didn't have to do that much work. If I could go back to high school, I would have definitely had a little bit more fun. Like I definitely tried too hard to like. But it was easy. I felt like, well, I did basketball, but I was too short and rode the pine. So I was like, I'm not gonna ride the pine and put this work in practice. So I tried out for like the team in 10th grade, and he was like, "Hey, Dylan, we've got too many guards here, and you're just another 5 foot, kid trying to play guard. Would you like to be a manager?" And I was like,
Nope.
I was like, I'm not about to be a manager. Nah. Like that was just my pride levels were like too high. I was like, I'm not.
I still.
My ego was like, no way.
Nothing against managers, just like I feel like I'm too competitive.
No, but you know what I did do? You're gonna laugh at this. So I turned down the managing job for the men's basketball team because I was like, I don't want to be the manager for a bunch of guys. But then the girls basketball coach came over to me, and she's like, Dylan, have you made your schedule yet? And I was like, yeah, I'm still trying to find like a 7th period class because you had to have 7 periods like of classes, and I didn't really need anything. I think this was 11th grade actually. And she's like, why don't you come be a manager for us? And I was like, what does that entail? She's like, literally, Dylan, we don't need you to do like actual managing stuff. Like you'll never fill up water bottles. You'll never do that. All we need you to do is scrimmage the girls in practice.
No way.
Scrimmage them in practice. You will assemble a team, a 5-man team, for after-school practices to help you scrimmage these girls 5-on-5 because we want them to play against guys to get better. And because she was old school. She's old school. Coach Crowder, shout out. She's a great coach.
Shout out to Coach Crowder.
Coach Crowder is a beast, dude. She knew the game. She knows. I don't know what she's doing right now, but I think she's from Morrilton area now, or coaches from Morrilton maybe. But she knows the game, dude. And people get so mad because they're like, why is she bringing in these guys to play with us? And because we'd be smacking the ball out of the air. They go up for a layup. I'm short, but
they're going all out on it.
Oh, dude, she told us to go all out, but she said be safe. We don't want them getting hurt.
Oh, okay.
Because if we would have hurt one of them, she would have got on us.
Oh, yeah,
she would have chewed us out.
Yeah.
Like she would have really mad. And sometimes she didn't want us to swat. Like if we were gonna block them, we had to be straight up.
Yeah,
she don't want you
let
to
them get a shot off.
Yeah, don't swat them because we know you can do that, but don't do that. So we scrimmaged them. And that was my 7th period class. Are you kidding? What?
Every day of the week.
I just played basketball.
I'd still do that.
That's what I have to do for class is just play basketball. I mean, shoot, it was amazing. People were like weirded out that we were managers. I didn't really care because I was like, this is kind of cool. And at the time, I was a single kid up in high school, like, I was scrimmaging the girls' basketball team, Hey.
Real reason.
I felt like a beast. I was like, woo. Anyways, so that's what I did in high school. And then, anyways, I don't want to get we go into that later, too, because there's a lot of stories of high school stuff. I was kind of a weird kid, but I was still pretty popular just because I was doing music. I started doing music.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Like, were you doing music in high school?
Well, I started doing it in like 7th grade, kind of messing around, but didn't really take it anywhere. It wasn't until 9th grade that I started doing it. I went by the name Swaggy P.
Not Swaggy
Dylan
P.
Swaggy P. There's still some people from Cabot that I see them that I haven't seen in years. They'll be like, what's up, Swaggy? And I'm like, okay, now that sounds way more cringy than I thought it did. Because, like, back then, I thought I was the stuff. I was like, Swaggy P, let's go.
Swaggy P on the mic.
We got Swaggy P on the mic. Anyways, I thought I was the stuff, And so people would call me Swaggy and stuff. And I was making raps on YouTube. I bought, like, a $20 mic on Amazon.
Were you using, like, a recording thing? Were you just doing YouTube videos? Like, what were you doing with that when you first got started?
When I first started, it was with my phone.
Really?
Everybody's got like iPhones and stuff, and I mean, I guess I didn't get my first iPhone until a little bit later because I had an Android for a majority of my life because I couldn't afford an iPhone.
Oh yeah.
So I had Android, and I would just basically like you're recording a video, but like I would just didn't video myself. I just was like rapping to see what it sounded like, and then I kind of did some more research into everything. And I forgot what the platform is. It's the cheapest thing that you can get. It's Wave something, Radio Wave or something. I don't know what
Shockwave?
it's something on Dell computers. Like,
Yeah, I
don't
swear
know what it is.
I think it's Shockwave. Or
I don't know what
something like
it's the cheapest thing you can get. It sucks. Like, it's bad. And so because I had a computer that somebody had given me or something. I forgot what I got. It was a cheap old PC laptop computer.
Hey, but it was a computer.
It was a computer. That's all you need. And then I ordered like a $25 mic on Amazon, a USB mic, and so terrible sound. And I hooked the thing in there, watched a bunch of videos like you were doing, like with YouTube.
Yeah.
Saw how people were recording, and I just hooked it in there and hit record and had the mic, and I would just rap and then set up my phone, you know.
What were you doing for the music? Like you were still
beats.
making your own beats,
No,
or were you
so
YouTubing them?
I tried to make beats in one of my classes. I actually had a broadcasting. It's just hard. And
Yeah.
so what I would do is I was just stealing beats off of YouTube. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't pay for them. I didn't have money. I was just copying the link and downloading them. Yeah. You know, Y2 Made or whatever it was. Or I would just copy the link on Google or on YouTube if I found a beat I liked, and I would do it.
YouTube to MP3.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, YouTube.
YouTube
yeah,
to
you know what I'm
MP3.
saying. So I did that, but
They won't know about that anymore.
yeah. The thing is, as I started learning more about it, I still find producers on YouTube that I like. What you do is just buy their tracks, or you buy a lease or something. Because the thing is, nobody's going to care if you're using that track if you're not blowing up.
Yeah.
Now, if I got 1 million streams, you'll get a call and be like, hey, you used my beat. You need to take the song down.
Yeah, or pay me for it.
Yeah, or paying for it. So I was getting made fun of a lot. My first track in 9th grade was called Haters Hating on Me.
Were they hating on you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's tragic. I don't even know.
tragic.
I wonder if we could play a little bit of the track.
It's tragic.
I don't even know if I still have it anymore, but it was on my original YouTube channel. So I started a YouTube channel, and that's the main. So I didn't know how to get music on Spotify yet. I didn't know what that looked like. I'd heard about it a little bit, but I'm like, there's no way. Like, that's got to be hard.
Yeah.
And at that time, they didn't have it as easy. In 2015, you couldn't just put I don't know if you could or not, but from my knowledge, you couldn't just put it on Spotify as easy as you can now.
Right. Yeah.
So, that was the biggest thing. I mean, I'm looking right now at some of my videos from 5 years ago, my music videos I started doing. So when I was getting a little bit better, you move in from 9th to 10th grade or whatever, I started putting out these just like tracks, like these songs, and I would do a video and get somebody to film it. We'd rent cameras from the checkout room at school. And dude, these ones got 1.5K views. Like, they were getting like a good amount of views. And I think it was because I sucked so bad that people were like, all right, let's see what this guy's doing. But I gained the respect of some people because they saw I was trying.
Yeah, I feel like. Well, let me ask this question first. How did you deal with that? Like internally?
That's the thing. Like, I don't know why. I've always had this thing where I know when somebody's like roasting me, but like I find a way to like just laugh it off, or like just lean into it to where it like doesn't affect me until later.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I lean into it.
Yeah.
Like, I should have known business wise because I was always doing these little side things. But like, this is crazy, but I legitimately was like, I'm going to the league. I'm going to play in the NFL. And like, I was doing like, after practices, my friend Oscar would sit there and throw me. He would throw me 200 footballs, and people would make fun of me for staying 2 hours after a 6-hour practice. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know why you're laughing at me. I'm going to be laughing when I'm playing in the NFL.
Yeah, you're
like just leaning into
calm
it.
down. Yeah, people are rude, and the thing is with comments, you will, no matter how successful you get, you're going to have the comments. But I saw this the other day on a podcast, and it's something that was a good reminder for me even recently. Like, nobody that's doing more than you is going to comment negatively negatively on your post. Nobody that's doing more than you is going to comment negative stuff on your comment, because it's all people that are not doing stuff. Why would somebody that's really successful comment on your post? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, even further than your post, like, most of them aren't, like, if you're doing your thing and you're grinding, they're not going to make fun of you for doing your thing, because they understand what it takes to get to that point.
Most of the hate comments are the people roasting, or that are willing to go on somebody's page, watch what they put out, and comment something negative. It's because they got nothing going on. Yeah. They're doing nothing. Yeah. And they're trying to hate on somebody that is doing something.
Yeah. You think that's jealousy, or you think it's like their way of just trying to be critical?
People, I think it's honestly a way of people coping with not knowing what they want to do, because they use that as a way to say like, oh, well, look at what they're doing, you know. And I don't know. I still get a lot. I never had that phase though. I never had that phase where I just wanted to roast people online or anything. I think it just comes with the people you hang out with and how you were raised. But I wasn't raised very great, and I'm still like, trying to do things. I think it's a mindset thing that some people get.
I was about to say, I think it's mindset because, like, even though I feel like we were probably raised kind of similarly in terms of, like, parental figures or like whatever the guidelines were, but, like, I've always respected people, like, whatever they're doing, because they're usually even if you're messing up, you're trying to better yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have a really bad problem with disrespect. I was very disrespectful.
Really?
I had a very bad. So when you grow up with, in a bad environment or like something that's pretty rough, you start losing respect for people because you don't have any respect at home. And when you don't see respect being shown to your people at home, or you don't feel it, or you don't feel that love or anything like that, that can really affect you. Now, for a long time, I didn't realize that was the case, but I could see it play in when I looked at like adult figures or even like teachers and stuff. I tried to be a class clown. I tried to do a lot of stuff, and I just feel like it's definitely how people are raised a lot of the time too, and just kind of what their home environment's like. But I definitely had that disrespect phase for a while.
I understand. Like, I was trying to be the class clown and that kind of stuff too, but in terms of like when other people that were my age were trying to do something, I think I was fortunate for my mom on that perspective. Like, she always taught me, like, if someone's trying to better themselves, like, why would you try to negate that? Now, if they're not doing anything, that's a little bit different of a story.
And what happened next really is kind of like I just put out videos and stuff, and people were talking about it, making fun of it, whatever. Any kind of buzz is buzz to me at that point, and that's still kind of how I feel things. I didn't really care if people were like, "Hey, I saw your song." I didn't care because guess what? They're talking about it. Somebody saw it. And so haters hating on me. I did that, and I did haters hating on me part 2. It was just
part 2.
I lip synced the song for the music video, like and I played the song in the background. And it was pretty bad. So most rappers will like still rap their song like so that it matches up really good. I just shot a video with my phone, and I was like,
you were still like legit lip syncing?
Yeah, lip syncing with the music. It was bad.
Oh,
I mean, it sounds bad. I don't even know if that video's on YouTube anymore. I mean, hopefully YouTube would remove it. It's so bad. So I've been making music since 9th grade or so. Anyways, on to that point, what I want to say is that grind was a lot because you're having to write these songs. I didn't want to like work with other people to write songs. I wanted to tell about what I was going through, and trying to be as good as I can. But like when you're that young, and it's crazy how it's changed because so many young people are making like really genuine songs nowadays, and you're like, who's helping them? Because I didn't have the maturity level yet to know what I was saying and to the magnitude of that. So like my words weren't as proficient or mature. I could have substituted this word for like maybe a better word, and I didn't know those. I wasn't like as mature yet.
I think the streaming platforms changed that.
Yeah,
I think a lot.
Probably
because like your accessing music is crazy now compared to like was that 2015 or whatever?
Yeah,
like,
2015.
Like Apple Music. Like think about when you were still having to buy songs and we were
buy
having to
songs
use
on
YouTube
iTunes,
to MP3. Like you only knew about the songs you knew about or like suggested. Now you can find anybody on Apple Music, and your access to and Spotify.
Yeah,
your access to new music is crazy.
Yeah, I think for me, what I was trying to do is it felt like I was seeking attention in some ways because maybe I didn't get enough of that, and I just was trying to get known a little bit in my own eyes. That's what I was trying to do with the music. Because at first I had the same dream everybody does, like, oh, let's get famous on this. Let's do something with this. And so I ran with that for a long time. But, there's a lot of things that changed. But through that process from 9th grade and then moving to high school, then it's got to high school. And, like, the first week of, like, sophomore year, they just say, there's a rap battle on campus right now. And it was some random kid who, like, I knew of, but, like, I didn't know him. I'm not even sure, like, no hate to him or anything. I'm not sure he was very present that day. Yeah. I don't know what the dude was dealing with. But I'm sitting out there all innocent with some guys or whatever. And I just hear people going, Swaggy P, swag. And I was like, no way, what is happening? And I'm freaking out. Like, I'm sweating like crazy. And I go out there, and they're like, you're doing a rap battle now. So I had to do a rap battle. Never done it in my life. Never really freestyled that much. I've always written songs. It was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. But.
Did you win?
So.
So no.
It was bad. I used lines that I had seen from another rap battle in a previous YouTube video.
Did you win though?
Yeah, I mean, I got the most like, that's what rap battles are about.
That's
just
all
getting
that
the
matters.
all factor.
It
Like,
doesn't matter where you got it. It doesn't
you could
matter
like
where you
say,
got it.
you don't even have to rap in a rap battle. You just say 2 lines like, oh, your shoes look dirty and
Baked potato.
Yeah, you just say something. You just roast people. Yeah. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to like be rude.
Yeah.
And so like they want me to roast this guy. They're like, get him. I'm like, oh gosh, and I just went for his clothes or something, and then I felt like a freaking bully because like this kid is like probably
not his clothes.
I was like, because I knew deep down I didn't have money either. I was just trying to make it look like I did, And so this kid's like wearing some like knockoff Adidas or something. I don't know what it was, but it was bad. I think it was the ones, the and one stuff or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, but it was I was just trying to roast the clothes. That's the only thing
I still got some and one shorts.
Yeah, you like and one?
I wouldn't say I like.
Dude, I had a basketball coach. Shirts. If we wore and one basketball shoes, he wouldn't let you practice. He's like, we're not putting that on my floor. It would leave scrapes. He was like particular.
Bro, I'm so glad I didn't go to Cabot.
Cabot's a little preppy, dude. Cabot is weird.
I wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk all day about this because we're gonna get into a lot of this stuff later too. But basically, I went to Harding, did all that. Just now graduated in May, got my degree. Let's rewind real fast because we could talk all day about this kind of stuff. So I'm 22 years old right now, and I currently work at Nova Joe's. So that's how me and Zach met.
Yep.
It was a year ago, right before. It was actually about 3 or 4 weeks before y'all were opening up in Searcy. I saw a building going up in Searcy, and I kind of I didn't have a summer job lined up. I knew I was going to be staying in Searcy, and I was going on a trip with some friends, and we drove by the building that was going up, and it said Nova Joe's coming soon. And I was like, and it had an email at the bottom. So I was like, I'm going to email this place. So I emailed them. I think I put my resume in there. Yada, yada. Zach, I got a call from somebody. I think it was Joe, this guy that was going to be running the store at the time. And then eventually I got a call from Zach, and they're like, hey, we want to do an interview with you. We're doing this open interview thing. Went to that and didn't really know what to expect. I did a little bit of research on them before, looked up their Instagram page, and I'd always had a fascination for Instagram. Like I grew my music page to like 5,000 followers and sold merch for The Real Deal when I rebranded to that. And so I knew a lot about social media, and I was obsessed with it, like trying to get the likes, trying to get the followers. And I saw a need for Zach's Instagram with the Nova Joe's. Like it didn't seem like the best. And
Careful.
Yeah.
Careful.
Well, now it's good. No, but I just basically went into this interview and did the regular interview and talked to him, and I was like, hey, I need an internship, and I think there's I can't remember the exact things. But I basically told him their social media sucked.
Whenever we talked on the phone, and you told me your social media is kind of trash right now, but I feel like I can make it better. Word for word is what you said.
That was probably. I felt so bad after. I think I was. After that, I was talking to people, and I was like, I think I just like ruined my chances at this place.
Yeah, because I was wondering. I was mainly me and my cousin were pretty much running the social media.
I just said it was trash. Definitely.
But like compared to what you can do, I feel like it's okay to have that kind of confidence with what you can do and like your capabilities, because like it was trash compared to what you've made it into.
Well, because my whole thing was I've been learning film, photography, all that through high school and into college, as I was always doing like some kind of film like on the side, like wedding films and pictures and lifestyle stuff, and still learning and taking classes and stuff to do film stuff on the side. I've always been a fan of side hustles. Mm-hmm. I think everybody needs a side hustle. Yeah. I mean, that's how you make it in this world today. I mean, you learn new things, you make more money. Side hustles are important. So that's kind of what I took into what I could offer you guys. And then Zach and me met up a couple times. We kind of worked something out. And it basically started out with me just working a bunch of hours in the store as a barista, because I had the Starbucks experience. I had
slinging the
I had a year of Starbucks, automated coffee. Just hit the button. No,
it's a little bit different.
A little bit different. We're doing a lot more steps, but a lot more steps to make it taste better, I think. And so I worked in the store, helped open up the store here in Searcy, Arkansas, and then. Since then, I've just been running the social media, working in the store, and then now it just was Tuesday, was the 1 year in Searcy. It's already been a year.
That's
Time
crazy.
flies
when you're
having fun. Me and Zach, think about this. I had the coffee experience from Starbucks, which is good. That'll help you a little bit. Zach trained me personally like a few weeks before we got going so that I could, pick it up faster. And so I kept practicing, and I had never like done an actual pulling a shot or anything like that.
Steaming milk.
I didn't know know how to do all that. I was working at Starbucks where you can just hit the button and then pull the drawer out when it was full.
Yep.
So he taught me all that, and then we had an orientation. Okay. I'm new too. Like I need the orientation too, but I'm taking pictures in this thing, you know. We're doing this orientation, and then we open up. And the biggest thing I'll say about the opening is we help plan the post and all that stuff. But me and Zach were on coffee for the first go run on the one side. We had, I don't know how many cars came through. We had freaking tickets on the floor, almost to the back door.
We were backed out to the off ramp.
Yeah, it was huge.
Insane.
I mean, we did insane amount of numbers on the grand open.
I'll have to pull that, but we did a ton of cars, and it was crazy. Like it was everything. Because it was like 3 and 3, and it was everything we could do to keep up on both sides.
Yeah.
And we were still behind.
Yeah, you just, like you told me when I came on, you're like, we don't know what we're, like, it's a whole new model. This isn't like you're just coffee only. We had the coffee and chicken going in this one place. And more about the coffee and chicken later, because there's a whole story on that. But with the rebrand, you know, we're introducing two different concepts and one into a whole new concept.
Right. And the coffee procedures were still fine, but it was just all the other dining. It was a lot of fun. I know that's the kind of stuff I really like to cherish.
I mean, it's a lot of good stuff. We did a lot and opened up. So it's been 1 year in Searcy, and we got Nova Joe's here in Searcy and Nova Joe's in Batesville, Arkansas. So I mean, it's been a grind, and we're still learning every day. I'm doing the marketing social media, so you can check out at Nova Joe's _.
You can't be that modest. You're our marketing director.
Yeah.
So
marketing director. Let's go. Directing the marketing. So our vision for this podcast really is just, we're not going to talk about Nova Joe's every episode. We wanted to give you a brief overview. There's so much more to these stories, but literally we could talk for hours and hours about this. I mean, we're at an hour 26 right now. Holy cow. Did you know it was on?
No, I didn't feel like it.
We've been talking for a while. So we want to save a lot because we're going to come across these topics with other guests that we have on the show all the time. But the big thing now is, like, in my position with marketing Nova Joe's and helping out with that direction, I'm learning a whole new brand and how that works with other brands and how to do these things. So we have, and I'm only 22.
Yeah.
That's the key here. People are wondering, like, how did you get this gig? And I think it's just like you were saying, like, I think y'all saw something in me just going for it and just like, hey, like, here's an idea I have. So many people say I can do this, but they don't show you how they're going to do it.
Right.
So I came to you with a plan of like, hey, here's what I'm going to post. How many times I'm going to post. Here's the increase it's going to bring you. How much will you need to spend? I came with like a little bit of a plan. It wasn't the most organized plan, but it was like a sheet I think I brought.
Yeah. Well, and off of that point, I think to the vision of this podcast and young people is like, I get asked that a lot too. Like, how have I gotten where I'm at?
Yeah.
Like 26 isn't 22, but I started about
That's
your
young.
age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's grown into this, and I have so many other ideas and side hustles and like stuff like this that I want to do. And we're getting these questions, and there are other people that we know that are hustling just as hard as we are that are going to talk about their mindsets. And I think that that's a really good thing to get out to people.
And you're 26, but you've done so much already, and you plan. What brief real fast, like how many stores are you wanting to do?
Yeah, so the goal is at least 1,500 stores in the next 20 years.
Yeah.
I think we can do it.
Yeah. Can you imagine being 46 with 1,500 stores? I mean,
that'll blow my mind.
You're just chilling with mimosas on the beach. No, I'm just kidding. Still gonna be a grind.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say until they realize it's a lot more work to do that, because then you got all kinds of stuff. I can't imagine.
Everything.
But the thing is, I'm just excited about the opportunity because I'm here now, and we got the Instagram going, Facebook going. We're doing all these different things. And I'm using the skills I learned with the music industry, just doing the marketing through that and that grind that I've had. And I've always had an entrepreneur mindset. I had my own lawn care company at one time in high school. You know, I did that kind of thing. And so like I've always had that grind, that hustle to do more and to get after it. So I think that's been a good learning lesson to help me like propel the marketing and vision for what we're trying to do. Because the slogan is "Let's make today better," and it's all about making people's day better, offering quick service, a fun vibe, great attitude. I mean, it's going.
True impact.
Yeah, the brand is good. I kind of got lucky though when I came in. They already had the logo and everything ready. You know, I didn't have to come up.
We would have gotten there with you.
Yeah,
probably faster actually.
Yeah. That's another discussion for later. Golly. Anyways, I mean, there's just so much going on, and we want to highlight all the entrepreneur aspects to this. But it's not gonna be boring because we're young. You know, This is chill.
Keep it chill.
We're gonna have a lot of different stuff. I mean, eventually we hope we can get some sponsors on here. You know, let's go ahead and get them.
Sponsors and influencers.
Let's get them.
need.
That's all we need. If we can do a sponsored post segment for your company. You know, hit us up. We're small right now, but I'm trying to market to you. Anyways,
as a side plug, this has been sponsored by Nova Joe's.
This has been sponsored by Nova Joe's. Episode 1, carrying us, sponsored by Nova Joe's. Shout out to this guy named Patrick. He's letting us borrow some cameras right now too. Shout out
Appreciate you, Patrick.
What a beast. Also, one thing I'll say real fast. With this podcast, you know, it's not necessarily going to be about us always having coffee, but we're going to try to have a sip of coffee each episode, you know.
I got to have some.
You got to have some coffee, you know, and you got to have the right kind. So today we went straight with the black coffee and the black cup, you know. There we go.
I enjoyed mine.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We got a bunch of guests coming on soon. So it's going to be pretty big. Yeah. You got anything else, man?
No, I'm just excited about it.
Yeah, just excited. I mean, there's just so much we're going to unpack over the next who knows how many episodes. Hopefully we can do as many as we want and just keep it going.
Shout out to our boy, Isaac.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Isaac back here. Yeah. Isaac, come into the frame. See if we can get him in the frame here. Come into the back. Yeah.
This is Isaac?
Yeah. Here he is. Isaac.
He's been our, I guess, technician.
He's been our technician for the show.
I've been doing it for about, how long has this podcast been?
Well, it's been an hour and 30. He probably didn't know he signed up for that long, actually. He probably was like, why the heck is this taking so long? Yeah. But Isaac actually runs the store here in Searcy. So this is like a Nova Joe's family here.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Emphasis on the word family.
Yeah.
You know?
Emphasis on the word family. But, yeah, I mean, it's great. We're doing a lot of different things. Like, we'll get into all this kind of stuff. We may get Isaac on one day, you know, get you on there.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I was that quiet for that long.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff we're still doing. I know Zach's working on some side hustles of his own. He's influencing, you know, he's working with us as, you know, young hires and hiring new people. Isaac's working on a lot of stuff, too. Everybody's on the grind. I mean, I just bought a house last year, so we'll get into that. I mean, we started looking at real estate. I mean, and we're in our 20s. Let's go. Like, you don't have to wait until you're 30, 40, 50 hours. Some people wait until they do a whole career that they hate, and then at 50 when they want to retire, they're like, I'm going to do my side thing now. I'm like, well, now your body's not where it needs to be. You're not going to have fun.
You can't work those 20 hours a day whenever you're that old.
You can't.
I can still go.
You can't. How old are you, Isaac?
24.
Isaac's 24. Yeah. Look at this. We're in the 20s here, and we're getting at it. So that's the key to this podcast. It's more than coffee. But it's about the grind and the hustle that's going on outside of just what we got going on here with the coffee industry. So that's all I got, man.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, see y'all next time. It's been a good one.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Hour and 30 minutes.
I didn't expect to go.
In the bag.
Dude, it doesn't feel like that.
I swear it didn't feel like
you talked for like an hour.
Who did?
You.
What?
Yeah, the first 45 to
No, I didn't.
The first 45 minutes I was just chatting with you like about the startup of Nova Joe's. People are going to love that. That's really
Did they?